Hi, my name is Ravi Mark, and I'm a consultant trainer at Oasis Education, a division of Oasis Private Limited. I conduct a variety of modules ranging from soft skills, corporate readiness, and software testing. The course we're about to talk about is software testing and why we even require software testing, what the scope is, what the world would look without software testing, if that is, if software were not to be tested, what could we expect? So in the course it's over the course of 2 months, 12 hours a week, so a total of about 100 hours will be imparted to you in software testing. So some of the things we look at is, what is software testing? The software development lifecycle. These are all industry standards, of course. The need for software testing, introduction to software testing processes, software testing tools, and quality assurance and quality control. Now, software testing is directly related to quality. The quality, obviously, of the software product or the application that's going to be deployed or sent to market. So software testing essentially is the process of comparing actual and expected results. Now, actual results is something that a software tester will go according to a test plan that's given by the program manager or product manager. They follow certain steps, and whatever the outcome is, if the expected result is met, then so be it. That phase was completed successfully. And if it doesn't get completed successfully, then that's the actual result. So that has to be documented, and that test case is then sent back to the developers, and they recode that piece of that module, if you like, or component, and it is then rechecked, sent back to the testers, and then, if everything works out, that product, that component, that phase is now complete, and the tests have been successfully completed, so you can move on to the next phase. So, and testing, of course, is the process of analyzing software for the purpose of finding defects and bugs. Why do we want to find defects and bugs? Now, for example, you take NASA in the United States of America. In 1999, one of their software applications had a bug, and that led to pretty disastrous results. So, you know, lives were lost, I believe, and that whole mission was unsuccessful. So if software testing is not in our lives, then we can expect situations like that to occur. Take Microsoft, say any Windows product, or any Office product for that matter. There are always constant modifications being made to that piece of software, for example. So it is an ongoing process. Software testing has a very, very high need, high requirement in our lives from anything. You take your basic iron, which is an appliance, to any software product that's out there on the market. Those products are out there on the market because they have been successfully tested, be it for software or for hardware or any components thereof. So there is a huge, huge demand for software testing, and our world would not be a good place to live in if we did not have software testing. So, from a student's point of view, I would very strongly recommend software testing as one part of a skill set, developing a skill set. It could lead into product management, program management, and managing overall projects. So There are life cycles, which we will go into detail and discuss. I will just give you an overview, however. So, the SDLC, Software Development Life Cycle. So for all the reasons we mentioned, the requirement for software testing being high, there is a certain path, a life cycle that's followed by all project managers, product managers, and program managers. So there's a requirement phase. Now the requirements phase is pretty important, as are all the other steps and stages. The requirement phase is when a client actually approaches a company and says, we need this piece of software, we need it to do X, Y, or Z. So the stakeholders, that means the product owner, who is the client in the end, interacts with the project manager, the product manager, team leads, developers, and even infrastructure people to understand how this piece of software, whether it be web-based or it's going to run as a standalone application off a desktop. So the requirements phase is just understanding the client's need. And then you move on to the analysis stage. You talk about feasibility, risk, the amount of resources that are going to be required, the amount of man-hours that are going to be required, what kind of framework is this application or product going to run on and run in, what kind of environment. Then you have the design phase. So the design phase is where people actually put their heads together, the developers, after determining what kind of a language this is going to be written in, they put together a package. And again, an approval is required from the client, making sure that every step of the way that there's an understanding as to what the client really requires. So once the design phase is completed, this all takes a period of time. So there's no set time limit for it. So anyhow, as soon as the design phase is over, the coding begins. So the developers start coding. And as soon as they finish units or components, testing can begin. So that's where software testers come in. Testing can, if it begins early in the process, then there's a higher likelihood that we will find bugs early, find defects early, and rectify them early, so that there's no loss of money, time, and effort. Testing is a continuous process. Now, and mind you, no product can be completely tested. There are so many ways to test, so many modules you test. There's unit testing, there's component testing, there's user acceptance testing. That's in the end of the thing, at the end of the process. So after testing is completed, now this is the SDLC, like I mentioned earlier, the Software Development Life Cycle. When the product is 90% or above or thereabouts ready, then it is ready to be shipped to the client for release, if you like, whatever version name it has been given. So, why, again, I stress the fact that why software testing? Why do we even have a need for this? Well, there's a huge demand for software testers in India. We need at least 100,000 to 150,000 software testers every year. Of course, given the fact that a lot of software development has been offshore to India. Keeping that in mind, it is a career path, it's a great skill to have, and the road you can travel is long. It can get you a lot of security. So what is the objective of testing? It is to find defects as early as possible and have them fixed. So this is what we'll cover in the program. In the course, we will cover all these sorts of things, all permutations and combinations. Also, not only does theory and hands-on experience help us, we also need to be intuitive and creative, because ultimately software testing is an art. And combined with the theory and the hands-on training that you will receive in this program through Oasis Education, you can also learn to dig deep and find out about common problems, or problems that you've seen on other pieces of software or appliances that you've used. Maybe even your handset, your mobile phone, or your laptop, stuff of that nature. Now, if it's software, then Microsoft is a good example. I'm sure you've seen a lot of problems or bugs that have come up every now and then. So the aim of software testing is to find bugs and fix them as quickly as possible so that the product is released, and it is released as a quality product. So quality control, quality assurance, these are all aspects of software testing. Now, why in the first place, you would ask? Why does software have bugs? Well, there are several reasons, and we'll go into that in depth in the class, obviously. Now, one of the first reasons that a software will have, a piece of software or an application will have bugs in the first place is that the requirement is unclear. That means this comes from the client themselves. So if they're not sure about what they really want, then that could cause serious problems, because the developers, after the design stage, start developing the product, and they're going on according to what they think, or what the program manager or product manager has passed on to them as the concept that the client requires. So that's one way. Deadlines can be a problem. If we need to ship a product really quickly in 6 months, and the requirement from the client was not clear up to 90 days, that's 3 months, then we're now all rushing, we're coding really fast, we're liable to make mistakes, the testing cannot be thorough, so those are some problems that you will see that cause bugs to appear, and defects to appear in software. Programming errors, again, because of a deadline, we miss critical commas and colons, for example. That can happen. Communication gaps. Now, this is why communication is the key, no matter what industry you're in. So in software testing, we're going to find that communication is really king. It's very, very, very important. Because if you do not find out the requirement and the concept at the very early stages of the software development life cycle, then you're liable to make a lot of errors in judgment. And once you don't understand something, everything going forward from there is pretty much wrong. So we learn in this course how to avoid some of those pitfalls, how to really, really hone our listening skills, our communication skills, how to pass on technical information to non-technical audiences. So this is also combined. So this is a very comprehensive course. And you will see after you finish the course that you will be pretty well versed in all the models that are used out there, including Scrum, Agile development. You will understand what project managers do, what a test case is, the different kinds of testing. For example, white box and black box testing. Who does what? At what stage do things occur? So, and you will see how important it is to communicate. I repeat, so communication is the key. And also another reason software contains defects and bugs in the first place is the inability to manage change. Now, change is the only constant. We've heard that so many times in our lives. Change is the only constant. So if we cannot manage whatever change occurs, and we cannot adapt to it early, we're going to lose focus of the product we're trying to create or build. And that is one other reason that defects and bugs appear in software. So, in the software testing process, let me talk about an overview, to just give you an overview about this process. First, you look at the objective. So the software, everything has a process. Processes that work are repeatable, so you can use them again and again and again, and over and over and over. Test planning. As soon as the design has begun, integration has begun, coding has begun, testing has begun simultaneously, we have a need now for test planning. So we have to plan these tests, and how the process, the software testing life cycle. Now, it will be a test case. You will follow that test case. If the expected result is there, that's a good test case. We move on to the next test case. If the actual result is not what we expected, then we go back, recode, come back to where the software works as it's supposed to, as it should. And there's a test design phase within that process. Writing test cases. Most times, product managers, project leads, they write the test cases, they pass them on to the testers, and who conduct them and report back. They come back to us with their findings, right? Then the execution of test cases, examining the results, and we report defects, or we say that that component is now completed. So everything has a process. So the software testing process also has several stages and phases. And this is very critical. If a product is tested correctly with quality in mind, the end result is going to be a superior product. You will not see so many complaints as an inferior product that's put out onto the market. Now, black box testing. Black box testing, or functional testing, or closed box testing. In this type of testing, we check the requirement. We make sure that communication that was the first part of this SDLC indeed matches up with how we conceptualize it and how we see it and how the client sees it and what they actually want and what we're actually delivering to them. White box testing, this is usually done by software testers. So after you finish this program, this course, you will be the one doing black box testing. Now there's another kind of testing, it's called white box testing. This is conducted mainly by developers. So they take a close look at their code, they check units, they check components of their code. So essentially, those are the two major differences. Now, if you look at black box testing, it is where the program or the application, the product that you're developing, is considered a black box. So, kind of like how we talk about black holes in outer space. So, it's something that's so deep, it's so vast, we don't know that we can completely test this product or this application. So we try to be innovative, be critical in our thinking, and get creative. So we have to come up with things and test cases that we have seen in the past. Maybe we're only freshers, but we've all worked on software some way or the other, or some time or the other. So we have to be really, really open to using any method to make sure that this product, this application, is of a very high quality, a very high standard. The bar is raised really high. Now, test cases are based on specifications. Whatever the specifications are during the requirements phase, we gather all that, the analysis phase, the design phase. We take all those specifications and we test categorically. We go from A to Z. We don't break off from A to F. There's a set pattern. Following a set pattern usually ensures that no stone has been left unturned during the software testing life cycle. So again, you're ensuring a quality product at the end of the day. So black box testing is also called functional testing and closed box testing, and it's data driven. So essentially we are hands-on with the product. So that's something developers or white box testers don't do. So we are the people, we are the users, for example, that are just trying to find fault with as many buttons, if you like, things we click on any web page, if it's web-based, or the application, all the drop-downs. We check each and everything. Is this doing what it's supposed to do? What are the tools that we're going to need? These are all determined by the leads, some infrastructure people. Well, that is for testing performance and load and stress on the system. How will this product interact across a LAN or WAN or MAN? Everything has to be taken care of. So it's a very, very comprehensive part of the puzzle. Software testing is right here. Software testing is huge. So is infrastructure. Infrastructure. And you got coding. And on and on and on. So it's a very, very integral part of that whole component. So of any project, software development project, it is a very, very critical part to ensure that the quality is put out there. Also, what if a product is not tested? Let's consider this. Companies require software testers these days because they need to put out a superior product. A product that's actually very, very functional. It does exactly what it says it's going to do, and it has been tested as thoroughly as possible. Again, I say you will learn that a product cannot be 100% tested. So we learn as much as we can. As we gain experience in the software testing arena, we will understand that testing is an art. It's intuitive. You use your gut instinct, you use your creativity as a human being, and put yourself in the shoes of those that are going to use this product in the end. So it's a very, very interesting, progressive space to be in for the next X amount of years. It doesn't matter, because everything has to be tested. The great products being put out onto the market, from games to applications, from email clients to you name it, whatever domain you talk about, there has to be testers. So there's always going to be a need for software testers in our lives. Now, software testing has evolved. Again, like I said, there are so many models out there. In our class, we'll talk about the waterfall model, the incremental model, and the spiral model, including Scrum. I'm a very big proponent of Scrum, the Scrum methodology. And in the class, I will go over it in detail. We'll spend at least 12 hours on the Scrum methodology and why it is so popular with at least 60 to 70% of the large corporations in the world, and that's why they are so efficient. So we'll look at the trends over the last 20 years, software testing, what it was, what it is now, and what it needs to be. So, you know, it's also a historical view into why software testing even started. Some of the biggest blunders for not testing a product fully or as much as we can, one could, to what methodology or what model to use for small projects, small software development projects, very, very large development projects. How is software testing different in the BFSI, banking, finance, insurance space? How is it different in the oil and gas space? How is it different in manufacturing, in the automobile industry? And on and on. You will have a lot of examples. You will share your experiences with the class. There will be a lot of interaction in this, in this program. So you will see some of the best, the most popular tools like QTP, LoadRunner, etc. Whose product it is, what it can do, can it be customized, and things of that nature. So you will see interfaces. We will try to test certain things. You can test performance, you can test load. Your machine, for example, your laptop or your desktop, you can perform tests on it using the software that's the most popular in the industry. So in conclusion, prospective students, I just want to do a quick wrap-up on software testing and why it's really important. And it has a lot of value as a skill set and as a career path. So I'd like to say that this is a project, a development project. Then and this is software testing. This is the software testing area, which you will be involved in as soon as you finish this program, and combined with your degree, whatever area or field it is in, will get you in the door, will get you a job in software testing. And it encompasses software testing, it encompasses creativity, skill, thoroughness, it is an art. You will use experience, your experience, tools for quality. So once you finish the program, you will understand that all this will come together, and this is all part of a software development project. So you see how critical software testing is. Like I said, it is an art. And over the last 20 years, software testing has changed, it has evolved. So it is nowhere near maturity, although there are many tools and techniques available for use. So good testing also requires a tester's creativity, experience, intuition, together with the proper techniques, which you will learn during the program. So also, again, prospective students, testing is more than just debugging. Testing is not only used to locate defects and bugs. It's also used in validation, verification, and reliability that all come together, making that product, that which you have worked on, to test its veracity, to make it a quality product. So, you know, you bring a good name to the company you work for, you can pretty much ensure repeat business for your company. Your company will get more projects because you have actually taken the time to test it thoroughly, report bugs, get them fixed, and deliver the product. And testing is expensive. So a software company needs testers, so they have to pay for a salary or a consultancy fee to whoever they hire. Now, all that is written into the project management part of the development of a software product. So the efficiency and effectiveness of a product, the testing of a product, is directly related to or proportional to the quality, the outcome. What you put in is what you get out. If you don't do the right amount of testing, you don't do proper coding, you're going to get a very inferior product. So you have a very, very critical job to perform based on whatever, whatever test plans are given to you. And of course, like I said, you bring your own intuition and your intelligence and your worldview, if you like, to this whole process. So I believe it is a very, very fast-growing industry. For example, like in the United States, over the last 2 to 3 years, they've lost $60 to $80 billion because of poor planning and less testing to deliver a software product. So, in order to save all that money, testing has become critical. You take the large corporations, you take IBM, you take HP, all these services companies, you take Yahoo, Dell, etc., etc. They have a huge requirement for testers. Now they have whole departments that do software testing because they have concurrent projects going on day in and day out. So there's a huge requirement for software testing. And after this program, I believe that you will have a very, very good understanding of all the models, the testing tools, the testing techniques, test plans, the requirements phase, the design phase. You will understand the software testing lifecycle, the software development lifecycle, SDLC, STLC. These are the paths that are used for successful delivery of quality products. So now there is automated testing, there is manual testing. So it depends on what kind of testing you want to get into, but the class is tailor-made to cover both those aspects of testing, manual and automated. And you will find out and know about some tools, learn about some tools that are available out there on the market. And another thing, complete testing is not feasible, so we have to use our creativity. You might wonder why creativity is so important. So because X equals complete testing is not possible, we use creativity, our experience, thoroughness, our skill, all the tools to deliver quality. And based on, this is all based on test plans that are given to us by our seniors. And they have also used creativity and skill and their experience from the past so that you may learn and you may see it, and at one point in your career you can also develop a test plan and make sure software is now very ready to enter the marketplace with as little bugs, as few bugs as possible. So I encourage you to go ahead and register with us at Oasis Education, a division of Oasis Technologies Private Limited. Join our course and take home with you some very, very valuable information about software testing, why it is important, the history of it, the tools, the types of testing. We cover everything. So, and I am one of the consultant trainers that will conduct this program. So I bring with me over 15 years of experience in the IT space. I've lived and worked in the United States for about 20 years. I recently came back to India. I am from Mumbai. I was born in Mumbai. I am from Pune. So I would like to impart my knowledge, pass it on to you, pass it on to the younger generation so that you can do the same thing when you get to the experience level that I've reached. So anyway, thank you very much for your time. Again, I encourage you to go ahead and register for our program. We start in 2 to 3 weeks. Thank you very much. Again, I'm Ravi Mark with Oasis Education. Thank you.